Hey guys, 2 weeks have passed since the release of the new 7.07 patch and everyone is experimenting and theory crafting a lot so they can understand the patch before anyone else. This video right here is going to be Bashruk's personal take on it, as well as some of the heroes that are prominently played in the high level games. It's worth mentioning that usually, the best heroes after a patch are heroes that received very slight direct buffs and a lot of indirect buffs. These are things like their hero counters getting nerfed, items that the hero uses being buffed, or in general the meta shifting in a way in which these heroes naturally become better. Here are the top 5 Position 5 and Position 4 heroes right now, and why they are so much better than before. So starting off with Position 5, we have Wyvern. Winter Wyvern is probably the strongest Position 5 hero right now. What you want the most right now from your hand support in this patch is options. Being able to not only play on the safe lane, but being able to help mid as well is a very big thing in the meta right now. Wyvern is also amazingly strong in the early game and scales really well into the late. It was a pretty strong pick at the end of the last patch as well, and in this one it only got better. The problem that the hero had last patch was the mediocre talent tree that it was presented with. Right now his talents are absolutely ridiculous. A nice way to judge how good a support's talents are is by looking at the level 10 options. Wyvern has the choice between plus 50 damage and plus 90 gold per minute, both of which are insane. Depending on the game, he can also max different spells. The hero just has so many things that he can do, you can literally put him anywhere with just about any build and he will still be useful. Spirit Vessel and Aeon Disc are 2 of the new items that work really well on the hero as well, so that's just another thing to top it all off. Next up we've got Bane. Now as we mentioned earlier about being able to play on any lane, of course we're going to be talking about Bane. Bane is just amazing at zoning, harassing, and in general, winning lanes. He can do the safe lane, the mid, the off lane, it doesn't so much matter. He can set up spells for other people, he can also run pretty deep and put himself in dangerous situations only to come out ahead in the end with just how absurd Brain Sap is in the early game. In this recent patch, they even made him able to hit people during Nightmare, making him even stronger than he was before in the early game. Not much more to say about him, he is a hero that is strong because of how the meta shifted. He got buffed a little as well, and he is a hero on which you can build whatever types of support items you want. Vengeful Spirit is a very popular pick right now as well, not necessarily due to the way the meta shifted, but because of an interesting buff that she received. They made her Wave of Terror give less vision than before, but they reduced the cooldown significantly. They also made it so the Vengeance aura does not decrease the enemy team's damage after you die. Instead, every time one of your allies or you die, an untargetable illusion is created that hits the target that killed it. That illusion is based on the hero that died and deals 100% damage. That is pretty insane. Venge is also a hero that has minus armor, so getting Solar Crest is great on her. Solar Crest being a little bit buffed in this patch as well, and any hero that helps you take Roshan faster in this patch is amazing because of the Refresher Shard from the 3rd Roche. And next up we have Lion. Lion finally got the buffs that he deserves, him being one of Bashruk's favourite heroes. His new talents are crazy. He has things like plus 200 Finger of Death damage at level 15 or plus 75 damage at level 10, 500 health at level 20. Crazy stuff. This is just a small part, however. The big reason that this hero is great right now is that Hex is undispellable. Nothing can remove the Hex, Purge can't remove it, Abaddon Shield, Oracle Ult, nothing. The biggest reason why no one played this hero before is that you could just buy a Lotus Orb, get something that can purge, and you can just mess up his combo and make him useless. Now Lion is back with a vengeance. And lastly for Position 5 we have Ogre Magi. Now Ogre, much like Wyvern and Bane, can harass and zone enemies in all lanes. He can go mid and let his Position 4 take all of the bounty runes and he'll be fine. He will buy wards, get value out of his Bloodlust, and tank. It's all gonna be great. The new upgradable Urn is a fantastic addition that is great on him if he ever gets the money for it. And also the new way that level 2 and 3 work, where you can get level 2 easier and 3 at roughly the same time as before, is a nice buff to the hero as well. He also has some better talents now as well, like the plus 300 health and possibly the plus 30 strength, even though the Bloodlust one is still arguably better, that allow him to get crazily tanky later on in the game. Now let's cover the Position 4 supports, starting with Undying. Undying is the rising star in the position 4 role in this patch. The new bounty runes and lane changes push the position 4 role into the side lanes, which often ends up being an aggressive dual lane. Who better to get in a 2v3 situation than Undying himself? Now that is not the only reason why he is so good right now, it is a combination of that, plus things like the new upgradable Aeon item, Spirit Vessel. The buffs that he gets to his Tombstone and his talents are generally really good too. The Tombstone on death at level 15 can create some pretty nasty situations. Things that weaken the safe lane, like the removal of the Poohman shield, also are a great factor as to why you want to pressure that lane pretty hard. The meta shift plus some of the buffs to the hero at the same time just let him annihilate lanes so hard that you just want to lane switch all the time. And next up we have the Earth Spirit, who's really good last patch as well, and now his talents are amazing. The biggest problem the hero had is that he couldn't push out lanes and farm the map, and now that can be fixed with his plus 200 damage to Rolling Boulder talent. Spirit Vessel is a fantastic item on him as well, and in general, you can pressure side lanes as much as you could pressure the mid lane. The fact that no one can TP at the start of the game to ward makes him the fastest hero on the map at the start, and you will always be able to ward first wherever you go. The new talents allow for some different item builds that you could try, such as going for the plus 40 damage and buying some more tanky items, but the hero is just very stable all in all and can always be good. Slardar is the next position 4 on the list. Slardar is a hero that people have been experimenting with a lot since his recent changes. The hero was always kind of decent in the last patch, but never got a top pick rate because of how good the rest of the pool was. Now with the 700 movement speed that he gets in the river, with the level 4 sprint, he is quite a lot better than before. It might be a small part of the map, but you can literally run from the left side to the right side of the map in one sprint. And the river is also where the Roshan pit is, so it's not as bad later on as you might think. The hero also likes building Solar Crest and getting a lot of sneaky and fast Roshan kills, both of which are a lot stronger in this patch due to the MKB changes and the Refresher Shard. Next up we have Clockwork. Clock is starting to become increasingly popular over just the last few days. It's mostly because of the same thing that the other heroes on this list are good for. The Spirit Vessel, the new bounty runes, the new and better talents, etc. The hero is also really nice to have because of how hard the offlane is right now, and having a hero that can power cog the lane twice at the start of the game to get the wave closer to your tower is a pretty big asset. Also, it's worth noting that most of the heroes that we've already covered in this guide are becoming quite popular and are pretty easy to kill with a Clockwork. Rubick is the last hero that we've put on this list, and it can both be considered a position 4 or a position 5 hero. The hero is just always great at what he does. He has a disable, he has a nuke to lane push with, and he always has that X factor with the spell steal. The hero was always viable and good last patch, and the only small problem that he had is that his talents weren't all that interesting or good. Now, however, he has talents like 200 health at level 10, which is just amazing. His whole skill tree now has very interesting updates, and the newest thing added to the hero is that he can toggle his null field as an aggressive ability as well. As Rubick, you can now decide whether or not to give your team magic resistance or to take it away from the enemy team. The hero just got better and better with these changes, and it is also a hero with which you used to buy Ghost Scepters or Yules as defensive items, which now you can do again because of the Diffusal Blade nerf. And so in conclusion, there was nothing mind-blowing about these heroes. They didn't just get buffed so hard that they are now super far ahead of the competition. They were either really good before and had some talents changed just to give them more options, or they were brought in because of small buffs and a lot of indirect buffs, or they're just really good in the current state of the meta. The patch is still really young, and there are a lot of things that might change in the near future. You could be the start of that change as well if you try hard enough. Thanks for watching, drop your thoughts down below in a comment, and have a great day.